Well, hello. It's so great to have you here, LaToya Randle, and you are the owner and founder of Pretty Girls Pound the Rock, and you're going to tell us a little bit about, you're going to tell us a lot about what you do and you're passionate about it. And I'm very excited to be interviewing at this point, interviewing you today. I'm Coach Lee with Action Coach Business Coaching, and we are interviewing business owners and learning about their stories and their passion with the purpose of sharing that information and letting the world know. So thank you for your time today, and thank you for being here very much.
Thanks for having me. It's such an honor and such a privilege. As she said earlier, my name is LaToya Randle. I am the owner and founder of Pretty Girls Pound the Rock. And what we do is we help grow basketball players become elite athletes by empowering their champion within. And that just it encompasses several things. First of all, we want to make sure that we are empowering their minds. So they need tutoring, any type of resources. We make sure we reach out on their behalf and get that taken care of. ACT prep if they're heading towards the college space. But our goal is to empower them and help them reach their next level in whatever space that is.
Okay.
We get some girls who they're not for sure about basketball, but we still are able to use that vehicle to empower them. So, it's a safe place for them to learn and get the kinks out and
Mm-hmm.
figure out if, this is what they want to do. And we do that through skill development. We do that Sundays. We're probably doing that maybe 42 Sundays out of the year now.
Okay.
We don't do holidays because we think family time is very crucial to their well-being
Right.
mentally. And so we don't interfere with that. And we try to run parallel with AAU programs. Our jobs is to make them better and empower them and instill self-confidence and self-esteem. And we do that with different tools, whether it be seminars or workshops or just through our actual skill development classes. We have awesome trainers that come in and work these young ladies out. And we just want them to know that they're worth the investment. So that's why we go so hard for them.
Mm-hmm. They are
Yeah.
worth the investment, and it's wonderful that you have an organization that is telling them that and showing them that.
Yeah. And
Oh,
for me, I had, a lot of people would always come up to me. I was able to play at the Division I level. And it's extremely difficult to get there. I took it for granted. I just thought that that's what you did if you focused on something. I had no idea that only 6% of all athletes even are awarded an athletic scholarship. It was just something that was around me growing up, and I just thought that that's what I should do. And so for me, understanding my journey now as a older woman, a full grown woman, understanding that journey and what it encompasses, what we try to do is try to put things strategically in place for those other young women who may want to take that path in
mm-hmm.
life. So I was very blessed with a lot of mentors, coaches, as well as resources. And so for us, that's what we want to do is provide those things for those young women.
So you're working on the athletic side and also the inside of the woman and the young woman and the development, both.
Yeah. Yes, and then what people don't realize too is if we've done our research with this vehicle of basketball and sport. Um, not over 90% of women in C-suite jobs or business owners have played a team sport before in their career and have played at a high level. And so with us knowing that those levels, that statistic is so high, I mean, how could we not make sure that
Right.
these young women have those resources?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so empowering, especially with us going through COVID, us going through some of the things that we've had to go through, whether it's grief,
Yeah.
just figuring out like how to, navigate social media now. These young ladies are under immense pressure as far as who am I? How should I be? What should I look like? And we
Mm-hmm.
want to take some of that pressure off of them and provide a safe place for them just to be themselves and not worry about that. I often tell my clients that come in, hey, we're coloring outside the lines today. don't worry about the mistake. We'll figure it out later. Our job is just to make you better. How do we make you better today?
Mhm.
So we talk about those things. Those things are so crucial to their
Wonderful.
mental stability as well.
So the question that I asked next is describe your best customer. So what's the demographic of this perfect person for you, or who do you help?
So we help girls ages 5 through 18.
5 through 18.
What I've noticed is that we've had a really big surge with middle school girls, which I'm loving. Because I, as an educator, I've been was in education for over 15 years with the public school system. And I got to see how these young women would come in and just would have a hard time saying one thing they loved about themselves.
Mm.
And that was disarming to me. And I wanted to be a part of the solution. A lot of times we sit around and complain about, well, this girl did this and, they're bullying here. And a lot of it is just self-esteem, them knowing who they are. And so for me, any way that I can help, that's what I'm here to do, to be of service to these young women.
I love that you're seeing more of the middle school, because I can see that would be a real, I don't know what the word is, a time where you can help them mold them a little bit. Otherwise, they could go down the wrong path pretty easy. It just could happen, and they're so still very immature, but yet being asked to be grown up, I think in some ways.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we forget that they're little people. Like I have a 5-year-old, I have a 7-year-old that comes now, and they have these wonderful little personalities. And sometimes we forget to just let them be little people
Little,
and
yeah.
respect them as little people,
Mhm.
is what I call them. And
Sure.
just let them be sometimes. Sometimes we just need to let them be and let
Mhm.
them, boys, I always laugh at first when we first start out with the ball. And because I've worked on the boys side before as well. I've coached in high school on the boys side, and boys are not afraid to like jump off of stuff or girls are more cautious and more. And so
Mhm.
for me, it's been so much fun to just see them just let it all hang out. It's
Mhm.
been such a thrill to me.
Take a
So
charge under the basket kind of a thing, because
yeah,
and boys have been taught to do that their whole life, right?
exactly, exactly. Go sit down, and they're
Right.
just everywhere.
Yeah, love
So,
it, love it. So you mentioned COVID-19. What things did you have? When did you start your business? How long ago?
so we're 5.5 years old now.
Okay.
We started in 2017.
Okay.
We had our first event June of 2017. We launched April 1st. Believe it or not, April Fool's Day.
I love it. I love it.
And so it was, it's just been an amazing journey. During COVID,
Mm-hmm.
we did a lot of what we typically like to train in what we call semi-private groups, where we have anywhere from 5 to 15 kids, because we can get a lot more done with them interacting with each other, especially when they're so young. But during COVID, we did a lot of one-on-one private training. I did try my hand at doing Zoom workouts, which was very
Was
interesting.
this? I bet.
Uh, so that was fun, finding space and
Mm-hmm.
not tearing up my home as I'm handling the basketball in the house demonstrating. But we did a little bit of that, but for the most part, it allowed me to have more intimate moments with different children, and really, really, really work on their self-esteem. So and
Good.
of course the extra germicide and taking temps, we adjusted that way. And then we also during that time we had women who were very antsy. And so we actually had an adult ladies league that ran during
I like that.
2020. So the idea got brought to me, and a lot of young women, I think they were just exhausted with COVID and the pandemic. And so we also ran a ladies league during that time.
That's
So,
great. So the good that came out of COVID for you is that real one-to-one intimate relationship you just don't have when you're in a group.
right, right.
So I think most businesses that I've worked with and that people that I've been interviewing have said that something has good has come of COVID for their business in one
Yeah.
way or another. So, and how do you continue to do that one-to-one? Are you going to continue that process since COVID is over now, or?
So for us, because of we're still working some kinks out as far as hiring trainers.
Mhm.
I'm very particular because of our audience, right?
Right.
We want them to be skilled, but we also want them to know how to speak and talk to young women. And so that's been a process. And we're working on getting some more trainers. But right now, in this time frame, they're getting prepared for tryouts. And so it's really important for them to learn how to stand out in the tryout situation. So we do the 7 Sundays, but we do open it up to one-on-one training for those kids that I feel they've laid the foundation and they really can get something out of the one-on-one training.
Okay. Interesting. So since you started this business and been a business owner, what's been your biggest learning in life or about business?
My biggest learning is just to, that it's a grind,
Hmm.
that you cannot get it all in one day, and that doors open differently for you. Some will open, where you can just turn the knob and walk right through and it's not a big deal. Then you have some doors that are revolving doors and it's all about timing. And then the next door for me, that I am starting to get used to, and it's scary, is that when they start to automatically fly open. So even this opportunity, talking with you today, I'm like, hey, she found me on LinkedIn. How about that? So
Right.
and just not being so leery, not being afraid, just
Mhm.
go for it, and and being patient for when it's not your time. So
Right. I think what you said about, oh, she found me, there's an opportunity. It's funny. You've heard this quote, the harder I work, the more opportunities I get. And it's so true, isn't it?
right, exactly. Exactly.
I just no one's pure lucky when it comes to business and life. I know that it's the hard work and all of those things too. So when we write the newsletter, is there anything you want us to include in it, like a schedule or a tryout time, or is there something I should let people know about?
So
The newsletter will be national, but it'll also go to all of my database too. So everybody in the Wichita area that I market to.
okay.
Yeah.
So the biggest takeaway is that we provide resources for girl basketball players. So
Okay.
if there's any girl basketball player in the Wichita area that need any type of help, whether it's skill development, ACT prep, um, uh, strength and conditioning, anything that encompasses being a girl basketball player from the ages of 5 to 18,
Okay.
please reach out to us. And then our biggest thing that we do, and that we're known for right now, is our ball handling boot camp. And that's every Sunday from 3 to 4. And they can find any information, registration information, where we're located at, all that is on our website.
And
And
it's
it's
Pretty Girls
www.pretty
SPTR Superstar. Is that what that is?
it's Pretty Girls PTR. So Pretty
Oh,
Girls,
PTR.
yeah,
Pound
Pound and
Rock.
Rock.
Okay, I
Yes,
see that there. Okay, okay.
yeah.
I like that.
So
Good boy.
prettygirls.com, or they can locate us on any social media platform at Pretty Girls PTR as well,
Okay.
and we'll respond to them as soon as possible.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, what is one of your most favorite business books? I can tell you've probably read a lot.
So my favorite right now is Traction, and I want to get the words right. Traction, get a grip on your business.
Gino Wickman.
Yeah, and
You're the second person who's told me that in 2 weeks.
I laughed at the title. That's the first thing. So anything that brings about humor is going to get my attention.
Uh-huh.
But one of the one of the biggest things for me is I am a type A personality, and I am such an athlete. So we're like, move
Right.
on to the next. And so I struggled with not meeting my goals. And I had a mentor talk to me about this book, because he knows that I'm like, okay, I get anxiety when I cannot get it right away because I'm so used to just working hard and getting it right away as an athlete. And so, in fact, we're rewarded with playing time for doing that. And so
That's right.
I struggled with that at the beginning and even into, especially during the pandemic. And once I read this book, and what stuck out to me the most is creating these 90-day worlds. You
Yes.
create a 90-day world and you write your goals out. And then that allows you to figure out whether or not I should kill it, keep the goal, or combine it with something else. And that has kept my anxiety down so much.
That's
And
great.
it's made me feel more accomplished, right? Because
Mhm.
it's a steady grind. And, sometimes you're on A and then sometimes you're on Y and then back to Z. There's no straight order for this entrepreneurship
There is
thing.
not.
So I really had to learn that. And, it just kind of, when I read that, it took me back to being a 7-year-old girl, 8-year-old girl, watching my cousin play basketball and wanting that same feeling. I was like, all these people are in here cheering for him because he made a basket. And I fell in love with the game then. And it was a, 10-year process from that time on to become a Division I athlete. So
Yeah, I love that. Are you
this
a visionary or an integrator? I
I
knew
am
you
the
were a visionary. I
visionary.
knew
And
you were.
sometimes I get in trouble for it. I am such a visionary. Like
Right.
it's too big.
Mhm, mhm.
So
I like
and
that.
sometimes it comes to me in my sleep. I'll dream it. I have to, write it down. But
Mm,
um
that's great.
I didn't know for a long time what my purpose was. I just thought it was, and no disrespect because those coaches are doing something
Mhm.
so important.
Yeah.
I thought it was being on the sideline and just coaching basketball. And I little did I know it was empowering women. And now that I
Even
know that, I'm having so much fun
wonderful.
and I'm
Even
not as
bigger than
stressed.
being on the sidelines. It's so much bigger. I mean,
Bigger than basketball. Yes,
yeah, bigger than
it is.
basketball. Well, this has been awesome. I've learned a ton. I could probably talk to you for hours, but I pretty much think our interview is about over for time's sake. But I want to make sure people can reach out to you at Pretty Girls. PTR stands for Pretty Girls Pound the Rock, which I love.
Yes.
And do you want to give a phone number or an email address so they can reach out? So some people may want to communicate with you to find out about the program to maybe start it someplace else.
Yes, they can call me at 316-727-6063.
Okay.
Definitely recommend if you don't get me on the first ring or just to text me and I'll respond right away. I respond to text messages really quickly.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it's been my pleasure to interview you, LaToya Randle, founder of Pretty Girls Pound the Rock. And I look forward to getting to know you better and seeing this in interviews. So I will talk to you soon.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.